Welcome to the Festival of Entrepreneurs, recorded live at the NEC in Birmingham. Over the next few minutes, you'll hear from some of the most incredible founders, investors, and business leaders who joined us this year.
Okay, good afternoon. I hope you've all had a fantastic day at the first day of the Festival of Entrepreneurs. We're near at the end. We're going to keep it up. I know that there's a lot of energy and there's a lot of experience that are going to be on the stage today. So thank you so much to those of you that have come to join us, to listen, to learn about this specific topic. So this afternoon, we're talking about social selling for scale-ups, turning content into customers. And I'm going to allow them to sort of introduce themselves in a second, but I'll just give a little bit of a sort of an overview. So first of all, we have David Angel, founder of the Ultimate Sales Training Academy. Welcome, David, to the stage. We have Alexander Donnan, founder and MD of the private membership, the Bureau Club. Sounds super fun, by the way. Can't wait to hear more about this. And we have Steph Jones, social director, co-founder of Hurricane Social. And she's just got a world of knowledge about how to make sure that we excel from a social perspective and content. And we also have our star, our last-minute guest on the stage, is Daniel Anderson Tufnell.
Yes, correct.
Fantastic. From Business Mindsets, and he's all about business coaching and helping people to grow their businesses. And I'm Melissa Curran. I'm the founder of the Modern Mind Group. But we're going to get stuck into this topic right now. But I would like you to sort of share a little bit about yourselves, kind of 30 seconds to a minute, just sharing sort of why it matters to the audience today as to why you're talking about this specific topic and how you can help them. David, over to you.
Hi. So I think with anything to do with it now, I think we overlook the fact of how important social selling actually is. I think for the vast majority of us, we are so used to having these little devices in our pockets that we take for granted, when actually they're TV stations. And if we go back 30 years and someone said you could get a TV channel for free, we'd all be pretty pumped. And I think if we maximize it, it can not just help your business, your personal brand, but just even the awareness makes such a difference. So hopefully today we can give some nuggets around that and help everyone move forward.
Fantastic. Brilliant stuff. This is about sales, guys, how we're going to start selling. Brilliant. Over to you, Alexander.
Yeah, no worries. From a sales perspective, I've always taken a different slant on it. I don't think it's about cold calling as such. I think people ignore emails and, letters and things that come through the doors. So I think if you can softly approach things through social selling, but meeting people at events and do it that way and much more organically, you're going to get a much higher rate of return from having that trust with those people that you've developed with social media or actually meeting people physically.
Great. Over to you, Steph.
Oh, that's a hard one. I would say we spend so much time on social media anyways. We may as well utilize it to work in partnership with our conversions, with our goals. We spend probably, 2.5 hours a day scrolling social media and 4 hours a day scrolling TikTok. We may as well tap into it and grow our audiences there.
Fantastic. And Daniel?
It's such a good question. And when we're improving businesses, we've got to think about return on investment. But return ROI comes from ROR, return on relationships. That's your first impression, creating trust and creating that impression. We can post for visibility, but you've got to be in the direct messaging to create the conversations that convert.
Fantastic. And, I know a little bit sort of around what Steph has on her LinkedIn, says that knows that's safe, won't cut it in today's feed. If we think about that and to get that little bit of attention going, Steph, what would your advice be to business owners to scale up right now about that?
That's such a good one. I would say be the complete opposite to your competitors. They all will likely say the same thing, run the same message, but if you want to stand out and be distinctive, run the opposite. Be a bit cheeky. You've seen Ryanair almost take the mickey out of their customers for being unhappy with the service. It's got them a lot of attention, so it's working.
Great. David, I see a lot of the content that you put out. You're quite consistent. Definitely, you stick to your message. You send out your content. What would you say from what you do is different and how you approach this to then going towards social selling?
I think one of the biggest things that we struggle with is standing out from a crowd. And I think for us, I have something we were talking about a minute ago. I have a thing called the Samuel L. Jackson theory. And I think Samuel L. Jackson, the actor, was cool as hell because he never told us he was cool. So we post a lot of live sales calls. And the whole reason behind that is the people that watch our live sales calls and go, I love the way he sells, they're going to be far more sold. They're going to want to get in touch. And the people who are going to get in touch are going to be more likely to buy. The people who hate the way I sell aren't going to get in touch. So our conversions for the people that come in are far, far higher from just being able to be that person. And also, I swear a lot. I'm rude. I'm rough. And that's the person I am. So the people that want to be kept accountable, that are sick of the fluff, are going to reach out to someone like me because actually they want that deep down. And that means that we have just a higher conversion rate for the lead to client, but also higher conversion for the existing clients. Because the people we work with really want that exact person. We're not giving them the smoke and mirrors. We're not doing the, oh, come in, it's really nice in here. Come in, the water's warm. We're like, we're going to hold you accountable. We're going to make sure that you really get what you want. You won't enjoy paying me, but you're going to be glad you did for years to come. And that's far more important than me than getting everyone in the country to know who we are.
Yeah, fantastic. So, I mean, coming to yourself, Alexander, when you think about social selling, what does that mean to you in your business?
That's a really good question. I think we look at it in a completely different way because we sell lifestyle on the face of it, and that's probably to draw people in. But the reality is that behind the scenes is quite a big selling machine. So we often are representing our members of the Bureau Club. So the face of it, like I said, is draw them in. They're having fun, which is part of the journey as well. They should be able to enjoy the journey of being a business owner. But actually, in the background, our sales team are selling for them. Because what we've recognized is that a lot of business owners, and you'll probably be able to help them, to be fair, but a lot of business owners aren't actually very good at selling. They're brilliant at building a business. They're brilliant at the service they provide, the product that they sell or whatever, but they're not very good at selling. So we sort of have taken that away from them. It's like, well, you know what? You don't need to worry about your brand because we know that you're worried about damaging your brand by asking the question, like, will you buy my product? We'll do that for you in the background, and you can enjoy your time, and we'll push warm leads to you, but in a different way.
Okay, great answer. And yeah, I mean, you can slip in my DMs, but seriously, if you're going to not use my name, use it in capitals like it's just come from AI or something. That is not the way to do it. What else are people doing wrong? What don't they know? And what are they doing wrong when it comes to social selling? Daniel, what do you think?
I'm sure David will agree there's not enough volume. Like personalised outreach is social selling. So taking a nugget from their website, taking a nugget from their profile and making it personal, giving them that little bit of feedback or value, isn't it? Breaking the ice. I think everyone so far, I totally 100% agree with them. And it's being that little bit controversial creates that impression like you know who you want to work with, not wasting time with who you don't want to work with. And that really makes it much easier for them to feel that magnetism to come to you, to come to me, to come to David. We might all do the same thing, but we position it very differently in a different way, don't we, about that perspective. And you're looking for people that share your perspective in the world will help you.
Great. Do you know, as a business owner, it feels like this mythical journey when it comes to content and social selling. You know, we've got a world of experience where people have done this on the stage. You're helping other people do that. And I don't know about anyone else here, but I often find that I can put things out, I can feel a bit burnt out, feel like what you were saying, it's about maybe the volume. And what do I really get? Does this really work? Like, is this actually happening? What does it look like when it's working right? David?
I think for a lot of people out there, people try and echo what they've seen someone else do that they like, but in the nicest way, no one gives a shit. But they don't, do they? Like, just because you like something, if I liked what you put out, that doesn't mean my audience will like me doing the same thing that I was attracted to. And most people are selling or marketing in what they find appealing, instead of actually looking at what do their prospects actually care about. And they're not talking to one person. If I do a video, I'm doing it like it's one of my mates in my front room. I'm literally talking directly to your soul. I'm not trying to get everyone.
I can feel it, by the way.
But it's true, right? And we want to change someone's state.
Yeah.
I want to either someone to be like, I cannot stand that guy, or I really know that guy's got my back. I don't want to be in the middle behind it. And most people are so scared to go all in because they're worried about the rejection. They don't. And they just half-bake it. And no one's interested in half-baked cakes. And I genuinely think that's what most people are doing. They're sort of dipping their toe and hoping it works. And it's just not enough for people now.
So how do we know if it's working? So, how do we know, right, okay, let me keep going with this. I've been putting it out. We're not just getting the vanity metrics. How do we know? What's going to be the success stories or the things that make the difference for people to know that they're doing it right?
I always think that being honest, so being as honest as possible. So my best engagement on any social media platform about my own personal brand has been me being super honest, super vulnerable, super open. Because I have been close to bankruptcy, I've lost businesses, I've sold businesses, I've done everything in between. And the more that I've shared about that, the more it actually aligns with the people that I'm after, which is business owners. So they ultimately then drop in my DMs and start, as in real people rather than AI people, and and suddenly I've got a conversation from it. But that was because I was vulnerable, to be honest. That's my own experience. I'm not actually the most social selling person. So.
Okay. Who else has a take on that?
Oh, I think depending on your brand, so say if you sell products, the conversions. We work a lot with clients across paid social to drive sales, drive more sales, see their purchases, their initiate checkouts, and see that return on investment, especially when looking at advertising, that you can see the direct success from it.
But then when we're paying for it, and I was on this stage earlier, and that was one of the things that we were talking about, is that you can pay for it, you can get a load of leads, but if you've got a system or not got a system behind it, it's going to fall flat on its arse, right? And I think from that, what would you say is the best way to make sure that you sort of set up that system then, David?
So we use what we class as our scale framework, which is source high quality leads, convert leads to appointments, align and close people. Then you want to leverage your follow-up, and then you want to be able to elevate your revenue. And if you break it down into a simple process, we want to make the stepping stones so easy for people to go from this stone to the next one. And what most people are doing is you want someone to become a lead and buy within 30 seconds of knowing who you are. Most business owners, sorry to say it, are selfish as hell. They're like, I put all this work into my business. I've been working for years. You should just buy from me. What we need to do is actually deliver to those people, making it almost so hard that they don't just take the next step. You should make it so hard to say no to that next step and easy to say yes to. And if you do that consistently from their perspective, it's so much easier. But most people are just like, can everyone just buy my product? Like, I've worked really hard. I've been 14-hour days. But no one cares about the struggle. They care about what's in it for them. And when we start focusing on everyone else in our business, it becomes far easier. And you then don't get burned out by doing content because you're deliberately going out with what's the problem they're having today? What's the problem I heard the other day? What am I seeing people struggle with? And you talk to it like it's one person just to help them. And when you focus on just helping others and you do it enough, you get enough leads. And then you know what to do with it because you know where the problem is, where they lie, and where they want to go.
So good. What I'm hearing there is everyone's favourite radio station, WIIFM. What's in it for me, or what's in it for them, as you were sort of saying. So I suppose that, when you look at that then, and having that sort of consistent messaging, that consistent content, is it making the process easier? Say, for example, let's take B2B, right? I know it's going to take me between 3 to 6 months maybe to close something where someone wants to work from a consultancy perspective. Let's just look at it like that potentially. Are you telling me that if I was to do that, or was to make it consistent, or anyone listening here today, that it is going to speed up that cycle? Do you think it's easier? Daniel, what do you think?
I'd say no.
Okay.
So when content increases your visibility, it increases your thought leadership, and you do that through telling stories. You've got to match that with what's going on they can't see, so getting that conversation in the private DMs. So you can speed up any journey by understanding if you're hitting their pain spots. So the classic line, isn't it, going a mile deep and an inch wide rather than a mile wide and an inch deep. So you're really looking at what are they going home and not telling their spouse? What are they thinking that they don't want to share with anyone? And creating content around what their biggest fears in their business, really creating that leap, the bridge, and they're like, he's just said what I'm thinking and feeling.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I'm also, so I could see David going, yes, and then you were like, no. But I'm thinking about it now, because ultimately my pipeline and my process is my process, right? I'm taking them from, you've come in, we've had a conversation, to when you close. But I suppose from the people that are circling the drain perspective, the people that have been there for maybe 2 years, 3 years, they're lurkers, they're not there. I don't know that they're there yet. But maybe that part of the process, are you saying, David, that is what is speeding up?
I think there's two parts. Part one, a lot of people are fishing in the wrong ponds. People are like, I want to get a really big client, but it takes me 6 months to close them. You could go to a smaller company, get all the details for a sales director, get direct conversation where he's already got a budget signed off, and you could close 10 more clients in the time it takes you to close one. I think that's one element. Are you fishing in the right pond? But I also think people follow up with the old gimmicky, I'm just checking in, I'm just following up. And basically, you're being a bit desperate. You're like, hey, could you buy my stuff now, please? Are you ready? But we've got to think of it like a thermometer of interest. Let's say someone needs to be at 85 degrees to buy, and you got them to 60 last time. Over time, that's going to have dropped off. So now they're at 30, and you're like, hey, so what's going on? And you're like, I'm even less interested now. Don't know what. So what you've got to do is elevate their interest and elevate their want and elevate their desire so they get to the stage that you've aggravated the itch. And internally, there has to be like a switch that clicks where they're like, crap, we need to do something about this rather than just living with the pain they're at. And I think if you get those combined right, everything becomes easier for people to buy from you.
Okay, great. So, if we think about from doing the sales versus building the sales system, how can we have balance in that? So if we need to do both, but how can we have balance? Because, I don't know, has anyone read The E-Myth? Yeah, well, great book, right? You get the work, you do the work. How do you get the work, you do the work? So what is how do we strike the balance between that? David?
I'm happy to go if someone else wants to. You want to go? Shall I be really honest? Work harder and develop your skills. So think of it like this. Let's say your business is like a race team, and you've got the car, the vehicle, and you've got the driver. You can get a crappy car and put a better driver in it, and they're going to get a better lap time. But if your car's got a flat tyre, you ain't going to win no races. And most people, they need to do a little bit of work to get the vehicle to work better, and then you need to get the skills on how to get the best out of it. And over time, if you do that consistently and you're patient, then you can develop those skills. And that's where a lot of businesses go wrong. They're just trying to be like, I'm a good driver. No, you're not. You suck. Your business is crap. The bottle isn't working. You've got a flat tire. The fuel's not right. And you're like, why is my business? I'm working hard. No, you're doing the same little lap over and over a day for 12 hours a day. So actually look at what's wrong with it. And if you can't work out what's wrong, find someone that can tell you. Because that's the cheat code, right? If you hire an expert, if I feel ill and I go to a doctor, it's mental. He knows what's wrong with me because he's a doctor, not me searching on the internet of why I've got a headache. And most business owners, they're too scared to get real help. They want to just guess their way through it, and it just doesn't work.
There's a great Peter Drucker quote that says basically, bottlenecks belong in bottles, not businesses. Bottlenecks appear at the top. So it's the business owner that needs to look at where the friction is. And if they're not, they're spending too much time in the business rather than on the business looking at what's going on.
Yeah, I see that. And not even realising that maybe you've got that flat tyre in the first place because you're too bloody busy driving around with a flat tyre. Steph, I'm going to come to you. Business owners can often feel like they don't want to bother people or fear getting that no. What advice would you give them?
Oh, it's only ever marketers or business owners that feel like they're being annoying. A consumer won't remember the last 15 times they saw your content, your messaging. They're not annoyed by it. It's us being annoyed by it.
On that, though, about, and a lot of this conversation was, the way that it was sort of marketed out as part of the agenda was around LinkedIn, right? Who on earth is on LinkedIn? Is it worth putting the effort into? To me, are there business owners that actually spend time on there? I feel like people are spending less time on LinkedIn than maybe they used to after COVID. Or are you getting success on LinkedIn specifically, or do you have clients that you're working with that are getting success there? Who wants to go on this one?
Look, I teach LinkedIn. I think other people on the stage do it as well.
Okay.
I get success every month on LinkedIn, and my clients get outstanding success on LinkedIn. So it's, again, don't do it ad hocly. Become system, strategy, and structure.
Okay.
You know what you're doing, then apply it consistently. Because it's not just about posting. It's about really consistently connecting with your target market, your ICP, so consistently with A/B testing of messaging. That's going to get you the results.
Okay, so on that then, so I'll come to maybe Alexander, who's like smiling there. So based off what Daniel just said, if you were going to say to me, right, do this, and this in the next 48 to 72 hours on LinkedIn to start moving my social selling forward, what would you tell me to do? It doesn't have to be me specifically, by the way.
I think most people tell you to be consistent. I'm not consistent in any way, shape, or form, but I do get the idea of consistency, because when I have had moments of being consistent, I've 100% had more interaction, more leads given my way. As I said earlier, I sort of focus on personal brand. My personal brand, or the voice that I'm trying to give off, is about recurring income, and that's the topic I choose.
Okay.
And ultimately, that ends up, like I said, hitting home with some people that are, especially at the moment, who are really struggling in business, especially in the UK, are finding ways to generate recurring income, that even if it's small, because I always say I can work with that, because if you know what your baseline income is at a minimum, then you can budget to it, but you can't when it's flying all over the place. So, like I said, because I've got that personal brand, it seems to draw in those types of people, but I'm not very consistent.
Okay. All right, so what I'm hearing is content, get your messaging right, get that out there. So number one, doing that. But then I'm like, right, okay, so I want to contact, I don't know, directors that are marketing. It's not me, but I'm just putting this out there. I want to contact marketing directors. Right, okay. So I go and I look them up on LinkedIn. How do I know which ones to then approach or to communicate with? What do I do? I don't know. I'm being serious.
You use the Sales Navigator.
Yeah, oh, okay. Right, okay.
So the Sales Navigator, I think, is excellent because it's the database behind LinkedIn.
Okay.
So then you can put the search criteria in, and one of the great sliders on there is, have they posted in the last 30 days? That's a great indicator if they're active on LinkedIn. So that increases the connection rate and the conversation rate as a quick tip.
Okay, so Sales Navigator or Salesforce, is that also a
That's
thing?
completely different.
Completely
There's
different
a CRM
CRM
system.
on top. Okay. So Sales Navigator is going to help us. David, any other take on that in the way that you approach LinkedIn, maybe?
Every business is different, and don't let anyone tell you that every business is the same. It's not. Your business might be different. For me, my big thing is this. I want to get people on phone calls as quick as I can, because I think having a direct conversation is the best thing to do. I also know a lot of people say found my stuff on TikTok. TikTok's great for my business. You know how many people tell me I need to get off TikTok, and it brings us 40-50% of our business?
Wow.
Right? Wow. Yeah, and people are like, get off TikTok. And I'm like, shut up. Like, if you haven't looked at the data, you are guessing what I should do. So instead of copying what everyone else is doing, work out what works for you. Work out what your people are working. Go and find out. Go and find a marketing manager. Say you want a marketing manager. Go and pay a marketing manager 250 quid for an hour of their time and really grill them. What they're doing, where they're looking, what they feel. That'd probably be the best 250 quid someone could spend. I genuinely ask everyone who comes on a lead where they found us, what they're hunting for. Because I want to know. You guys will have the data for your business. What we don't want to do sometimes is admit what the actual data is telling us. And actually, for me, most people will go to LinkedIn for me to look at my CV. What's he posting about? We post live sales calls. What does he talk about? I'm really direct. I'm really high on accountability. So they look for that for me as a tick sheet before they book a call. To work out, is that what your clients do? If you've got a solar company, your clients probably aren't looking on there because they're B2C. But don't fish in the wrong pond. And I think a lot of people are really getting it backwards, that they just assume, oh, everyone says LinkedIn, go there. Maybe not. Like, work out what you're trying to do with your business. Work out what the problems are. Work out what your clients' problems are and address them.
Okay, fishing in the right pond. Okay, but if I look at what you were just talking about there, so B2C, B2B, what is the real difference between the two when you're aiming to get a result out of social selling? What do you think that difference is? Is there a difference? Steph, I'll come to you.
Oh, I think it depends really heavily on your business. If you're a service-based business, then I suppose LinkedIn might be the strongest platform. TikTok works great for you. I've seen it work great for other businesses, just for awareness, getting the name out there and driving traffic into other platforms. If you're B2C, maybe, again, TikTok Shop. You can look at Meta, Instagram. You know, the world is endless, but it's making sure that you're not stretching yourself too thin to be where you think your audience is.
Okay. What about dark social? I'm looking at you, Alexander, because I feel like I don't know. Oh, okay. So dark social is
I'm not sure I should be on
is where people will share your content with somebody else, but you don't know. So it's not like a metric that you would be able to see or touch or like. So they haven't liked your stuff. They haven't necessarily commented on it, but they've gone and shared it with somebody or had a conversation. So, for example, if I was working with David and I see something about your membership group and about the Bureau Club, I say, right, David, check this guy out. Go and contact him. And then he contacts you. So do you see, looking at the type of business that you have from a membership club perspective, do you see that happening or do you hear of that happening?
Thanks for the explanation.
That's okay.
That absolutely happens to me all the time.
Oh, okay.
Like the amount of times that someone comes up to me and goes, "Oh yeah, I saw your post the other day," and in my head I'm like, "You didn't like it." Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, you 100% saw it, you 100% forwarded it to somebody else, but yet I didn't see that at all. So there is a side of me that's like, although, you know, there might only be 10 likes or 50 likes or whatever, that's not really a true representation of how many people it's actually touching. But going a little bit back to the previous one is about knowing, like you said, which pond you're supposed to be in. Like, for me, outreach is not a good thing. Like, in my world, I can't be seen to be chasing someone. That's not good. It doesn't look cool, right? It doesn't look right that I'm a members club that talks about exclusivity, business owner, blah, blah, blah. I can't start reaching out saying, "Oh, do you want to have a chat to me about business membership clubs?" Because I look desperate. And that's not the perception I ever want to be, because we're not. We've grown organically. We don't need it, you know, and that's not what we're going to do. So again, just knowing what to do on social media. So if yours is insurance, then maybe you could contact everyone and just fucking go for it, and you might get 1 out of 100, maybe. And so what? You got 1 out of 100. It was worth it. But actually, for me, I can't reach out to anyone. I almost need to encourage people to come to me, because that's the strongest way of selling, because I know that I've got them more on a hook.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is you're a dark social master without even knowing. You didn't even know that this is a thing. This is a thing. But there are times when it does work that out. So that's not for you. Actually, let me just unpick that a little bit more. So in that sense then, what type of content are you putting out? Is it like 30-second reels like David was talking about, and like maybe TikTok? Is it long-form content? Like, what is it that you're putting out onto socials that is working for you?
So different social media, different things. So Instagram is very much lifestyle. So I have to, it's not faking it, because I'm now worried that someone might think, "Oh, he's faking it." So it's very much, you know, we do take people out on boats down at sandbanks. We do go to Claridge's. We do, you know, all these types of things. So it's very much pushing on that, so that there's this core of, like, "Oh, I want to be you," instead of like, "Oh, I looked at it, you know, I'd really like to be part of that type of thing." And that's lovely. And then on my personal one, like I said, I go very deep into the dark world of being an entrepreneur. Like I said, I've put on there about how the fact that I had debt collectors coming at my door. I had a business owner, a friend of mine who has loads of businesses in Manhattan, who called me up and said, "Come over to America, I'm going to pay for it all, because I don't want you to give up on business." So I use LinkedIn in much more of a vulnerable thing, so that I can encourage them to feel like I can relate, because I'm after business owners that want to be on a journey with other business owners, and that's the best way to relate.
Great answer. Daniel, you want to come in on this?
Yeah, very much so. Very quickly, the stats and the algorithm really back up what Alex just said as well. By putting yourself on a picture or on a video, that everything, you'll know this as well, works so much better in terms of, not that we're chasing impressions, but people engage with it so much more. And that gives you opening to get into the DMs with them again. So it's going full circle.
Yeah, on that though, so LinkedIn seem to love changing their algorithm, right? I think it's why, to be honest, I just need you guys to just help me fall back in love with the thing.
Don't overthink.
That's why I'm here, to be honest.
Don't overthink the algorithm. Just don't play the algorithm. Play your business. Be your business. Don't worry about what any network's doing about the algorithm. Make it you, and then share that message. Because you can spend so much time worrying about the algorithm. I can talk all day long about it, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but on that, whether you are, so for example, I know what you mean. I understand what you're saying from that perspective, but then whether you're putting written content out that might be good, whether you put a picture or put a video, you are going to see a change depending on what that is. So what's the preference then? What would you suggest that, Steph, do you want to jump in on this?
In terms of post content, we've seen for clients that we work with, carousels, PDFs, grow engagement. But when you look at the platform and when you talk to LinkedIn themselves, to grow awareness, grow engagement, it's long-form captions. Getting in the conversation, not just posting and ghosting, but actually cultivating your community and being present rather than, like I said, posting and ghosting or using a scheduler to be there live.
Community, you just said it. So I find that when I post a lot around networking or an event like this, tag other people, start and get a conversation, that seems to get a lot more engagement than anything else, which I suppose is part of being on the platform as well, right? What do you see yourself? What is your content strategy then, Daniel? And how do you approach what you do on LinkedIn?
I use a lot of metaphors and solving problems. So examples of showing problems. But again, I'm a big advocate. Like if you create content, so for example, if I'm on a prospecting call with you, you share a problem with me. And then if you bought from me or not, it doesn't matter. For the following day, I do a blog or I do a post about your biggest problem. I'm not tagging you into it, but I send it to you as a DM saying you've inspired me to make this content. That raises your thought leadership and impression of you. And then guess what? They book more calls because you're sharing your expertise up here, but you're sharing what you solve and how you solve it publicly.
That's a nice touch, just saying, what, you inspired me to do this. Because I think business owners worry that if they're having those conversations with clients or customers, that they can't necessarily go and post. One of the things that I hear is that they'll say, oh, but they'll know that I posted it about them. David, what do you think?
I literally do it on Instagram all the time. I'll go on my story view and I'll look at the businesses that are following, and I will make content directly at them, like literally directly. If I see we get a lot of solar companies who fell into that space, and a lot of them are electricians in their 40s that went, solar's going to make us a lot of money, and then never.
Don't talk about Ashley like that.
Yeah, literally, that's what happened. So I see loads of solar companies on there, and I'll put a post out saying loads of solar companies are following me at the moment. Here's 5 of the big problems they're facing, and this is why they're screwed. And I'll just do a video on that, or I'll do it on a other thing, or if it's coaches, or it's experts, or it's recruitment companies, because they're literally by them viewing your stuff, they are putting their hand up and saying, "Oh, you've got my attention." That's half the battle. So if someone puts their hand up in a crowd now and went, "Oh, I like that," and you're like, "Okay, I'm not going to do anything focused on what you're doing. I'm going to do everything, and I'm going to guess for the people who haven't put their hand up on what." That's mental. Like if you've got marketing managers, and it's marketing managers, you should go all in, because other people that know what a marketing manager's job is would still follow it. We talk about one fixed industry typically for 3 months. At the moment, I talk about solar companies. But do you know how many other businesses like, oh, because you do it for solar, could you do that for us? And we're like, yeah, exactly the same thing. So we talk to the key problems from the people that are viewing us, we adapt that, and then we give them the scale and the strategy and the plans that are going to be transferable around anything else.
Doubling down. So what you're saying, so just to unpick what you just said. What did you say again about 3 months? So you'll stick to one.
We'll talk to one area. For example, we work in 19 industries. I can do B2B, B2C, we do high. If I'm talking about a different person every single day, everyone's getting a diluted version. But if we had a solar company went from 30k a month to 250k a month in 10 weeks. What a great testament. And then anyone who's got a business going, well, I do driveways. I do high-end gates that are 30 grand. Would this work for me? Yes. So we send you a video to show you how it works, and if you like it, have a call. That's literally what we do.
Yeah, making me think a lot about sales enablement. You enable, and a little bit of what you were saying, Daniel, is that you're then sharing that content and then resonates, that's that next step. It's where it's going from the marketing into that sales funnel then, isn't it? It's going from that MQL to that SQL to to then lead into something where someone's actually going to buy from you. We haven't got too much time left, so what I'm going to say is I want you to think about this question and answer it, and I'm going to come around you all. What is something that you wish business owners would stop doing about social selling and start doing about social selling? Who wants to go first?
I feel like I've spoken non-stop, but I'll just get over and done with it if you like.
You've got the
I
energy.
genuinely think if you send me, in a nice way, bullshit long message, I would just delete it. I think people that send voice notes now, you're more likely to get it listened to. But if you send me a video, even if I hate your face, I will still watch the video. So you will at least get 10 seconds of my time. It's about what you do. So you've got to make it super easy. So I think stopping doing long form, make it easy for people to actually engage with your stuff. And if you're a likable person with good energy, it is far easier. If you're going to sit looking like you're in a broom cupboard and like in a dark room where you like a horror movie, don't send that video. But like, just make it easy for people. So stop long form written messages, make it easy for people to say yes to video work.
Great, thank you. All right, Steph, you're up next. Go.
I would say stop trying to dilute yourself on every platform. Just because you're on every platform doesn't mean your audience is. Niche down 1 to 2 platforms, pour your energy in there. You're more likely to see better results, more consistent results.
Okay, I feel like you're talking to my soul, guys. Okay, Alexander,
Remind me of the question again.
What do you wish business owners would stop doing when it comes to social selling, and what do you wish they would start doing?
Mine's similar to David's, to be fair. Stop sending messages on LinkedIn to me, trying to sell me something from day one without really getting to know me. And so what they should then do is find a way to contact me, which is more human, if I'm honest. Okay. So, to give an example, if I did see someone that I did want to contact, I'm not dropping into their DMs. I'm speaking to my friend that's linked to them and say to them, I'd really like to meet, and they probably owe me a favour, by the way, because I make sure that people owe me favours. Okay. And I do that without, for me it would be like, they come along to an event that I have, and I offer it for free. There's no expectation, but I do know in the background that if in the future I ever needed to call upon them, that they will probably go, yeah, no problem. So I often call upon favours. So actually build lots and lots of favours with people. So that's basically give, ask. So it's the Gary V. Jab, pump. Yeah, exactly. Jab. But it's true, though. It really is true. Like, the more you give, it comes back in abundance.
Great. Thanks, Alexander. And Daniel, what do you wish they would stop doing, and what do you want them to start doing?
100% stop overthinking. Okay. Just stop overthinking, because the more overthinking, you get overwhelmed and overworked, and you become disorganized. So you're never really feeling like an owner or a business owner. I'm sure David will agree with this. If every business owner in the world called themselves a sales director first, they would sell more. So if you think about being that identity of calling yourself, right, I'm marketing director today, allocating the time to really what you want to achieve in the department of your business. If there's 50 of you or 1 of you, you've got to understand your time split.
Amazing. How many of you are now going to change and call yourself sales directors within your own business?
Do it.
Brilliant. Thank you ever so much for talking to us today. There's been a brilliant collection of experience and knowledge shared here today. David, Alexander, Steph, and Daniel, thank you ever so much for this afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching this special episode from the Festival of Entrepreneurs. Our mission is simple: to help founders and business owners grow faster, think bigger, and take action. And if you were part of the event, thank you for joining us and being part of the community. And if you missed it, don't worry. We'll be back with even more ideas, inspiration, and opportunities to help you take your business to the next level. You can find out more and register for future events at festivalofentrepreneurs.co.uk.